Welcome to another episode of Neat Network and Cool Capacity, featuring your hosts, Rick Taylor from the SCTE Central Indiana chapter and Eric Fallows of the SCTE Great Lakes chapter.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, March 22nd. We thought we were done with the snow up here, but we thought wrong up here in Michigan. Can't complain, though. It's been a very mild winter for us. Rick, what's been out, man?
Well, I'm happy to report there's no snow today. Started off, actually, it's a really nice day down here, but it's raining now. I talked to a counterpart who invited me sledding. Is that true? You guys got enough snow to go sledding up there?
No, not quite. And it's going to be like 50 degrees early next week. So no toboggans for you.
Well, I guess I'm not making that drive. You asked what's going on. Just a lot of stuff, right? So from a chapter standpoint, trying to plug away at some trainings, keep that going, trying to encourage people to join other trainings. Region 7, we had a quick meeting. It was this week, right?
We did?
Yeah, it was this week. So it's good to kind of touch base with the other chapters, see what's going on in 2024, try to work through some strategy and things with the MSOs. We're also coming up on our vendor show, April 18th, Thursday, April 18th is our vendor show and cable games for Central Indiana.
Nice.
So a lot of effort into that, building teams, asking vendors if they can make it, if they can judge, things like that. So that's been keeping me pretty busy. So what about you guys? What's happening in Michigan?
So we're preparing for our vendor day next week on Thursday, March 28th. So that's going to be pretty exciting for us. We've got 40 different vendors participating this year. I think we might only have like 2 or 3 tables left compared to like 14 for last year. So we're definitely up for 2024. The other things we have going on specific to cable games would be that our in-house network maintenance teams are going to participate. And we've also got a business partner back in Verita. And then also we'll have a team from Wyandotte Connects in there. So the tradition for us on the vendor day, Rick, is that our entire chapter board volunteers to run the cable games every year. So that way our vendors are able to get a chance to connect with the attendees. And we'll also have a photographer on site to provide headshots to all of the attendees. And I'm confident that we have the right mindset, the right vision, and our board is extremely eager this year with a lot of talent and relentless determination to make this year's vendor day and cable games for us success.
I got to circle back on one thing. You said 40 vendors signed up?
40 vendors signed up. So if you can sneak your way in there, you can get all the business cards at our event. You're welcome to take as many as you want from us.
Well, if I show up, I'm sneaking in. So I think that's fascinating. I think I love that the board steps in to free up the vendors' time. I think that's a good takeaway. I don't think I have time to do it this year, but I'm going to try to do that next year. I think it's a good best practice, right? Give the vendors time on the floor, let them do their thing. So that's pretty neat. I went last year, but I didn't realize that's how you guys conducted it. I guess I should ask some questions.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then the other thing I was going to say, so not just local MSO, but you guys are bringing in some BP labor contractors also to compete. Was that right?
That's correct.
That's
and
fantastic.
So we've got Verita on our t-shirts this year without giving away too many surprises, on the back of the t-shirts, which is pretty cool.
Well, I will challenge some of my peers that the in-house teams better take the overall. So
yeah. The other things, I guess before I get into our training that's coming up, after our vendor day and after CLC, do you have any trainings coming up? Anything new in the webinar or in-person space?
Well, we just conducted, we had InterSys come in, talk about powering. That was going to be our last one until we hit the vendor show. That's, shift the focus to the vendor show. So we do have some coming out after the vendor show. I'd be lying to you if I told you exactly what they were, if I knew off the top of my head. But yeah, right now, the whole team's focused on, let's execute the vendor show. Let's have a good show. Let's make it fun, and let's make it worthwhile to the folks that sponsor it.
Love it.
What's your next training?
The training, our next training is at the end of April. It's basic HFC powering. And we're getting ready, I think, in the next couple of weeks to turn in like the annual events calendar, if you will. So the only other trainings I know that we've got penciled in right now would be some data analytics and basic SQL training in August, and then also cybersecurity in October. And we'll fill in the gaps, as I was saying, for the remainder of the months. We're trying to keep things simple this year without getting too fancy.
No, absolutely. It can get complicated very fast. Anybody that's been on a chapter knows that. And sometimes it's nice to not take the easy way out, but keep it simple and relieve some of the extra pressure that we put on ourselves through the volunteering.
Absolutely. So, question for you. What does the countdown clock say for the chapter leadership conference at this point? What do you got down to the days, the hours, minutes, and seconds? What are we looking at?
You're gonna have to stand by. I was gonna save that for the last one, so I haven't opened up the countdown. But we're getting close. I think Monday would have been 21 days, give or take, almost 22 days. So I'll make sure that everybody knows how many days, how many minutes, how many seconds, the whole deal, before we end the podcast today. So, but we're coming up on it quick, T-minus, somewhere under 20 days. So exciting bit of time. A lot of effort goes into the chapter leadership conference, subcommittee folks, and then the folks at national arranging that, making sure we have the best content and the best speakers engaged on that to really give some bang for your buck, so to speak, if you can make it to one of those, which is, the whole point of today, right? Let's talk about CLC. Let's talk about some experiences and things like that. Do we have any guests we want to announce? We got some special guests today.
We've got 3 special guests today. First, I'd like to introduce Mark Adams, who is the Region 9 rep for SCTE. I'd also like to introduce Rob Asten, who's the chairman of the Chesapeake chapter, and also Jennifer Tyrrel, who's an associate for 3 chapter boards in Snake River, Rocky Mountain, and also Sierra chapter.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show today. I want to say, I've had the pleasure of being on several committees with everybody on here, including you, Eric. But all together, we came together for CLC this year for 2024. We're all part of that subcommittee there, and we really want to grill you guys about experiences and things like that. But before we do, I'd like, and we'll start with Jennifer, and then we'll work our way to Mark and then Rob. But why doesn't everybody take a couple seconds, give us a quick introduction, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll jump into some questions. So Jennifer, give us a little background on you.
All right, sounds good. Again, thank you for having me as a guest today. I am part of the Snake River chapter. I was the secretary for 3 years. Prior to that, or after that, is when I transitioned out to being an associate to train the new leaders for today. I also support the Rocky Mountain chapter and the Sierra chapter as an associate as well. I started my journey in cable in 2005. I was a tech suit for a company called NCTC. I got involved with the SCTE program back in that day by 2006, and have been enjoying it since. And it would really not be the same for me if it wasn't for SCTE. And I mean that not as a marketing piece, but truly, I wouldn't have learned all the things I've learned over almost the 20 years I've been in the industry if it wasn't for the SCTE opportunities. Whether it was the learning tools or networking, it was some kind of platform that helped me to get through where I am now. So,
Look at that. I learned something new about you. The supervisor part, I didn't know. Nice. Mark, what about you? You want to give us a little history on Mark?
Sure. First off, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity of participating with the podcast today. I have been in the cable or telecommunications industry for 44 years. And of that 44 years, 39 has been as an SCTE member. And with that, I am currently a senior principal architect at Cox Communications. Prior to that, I spent 31 years at Old Scientific Atlanta, and then of course they were acquired by Cisco Systems back in 2006. I took an early retirement in 2011. Took a couple of years, a little bit of a sabbatical, knocked around, see how much golf I could play. And then Cox contacted me and asked me to join them a number of years ago. And it's been a match made in heaven ever since then. Back when I was a vendor at Scientific Atlanta, I used to say that when I grow up, I wanted to be a customer. So, I'm not sure if I'm growing up or not, or maybe still in my adolescence. As I said, been a member of the SCTE for 39 years. I am a senior member of the SCTE. In 2021, I was fortunate enough to be inducted into the Cable TV Pioneers, as well as the SCTE Member of the Year. And then in 2022, I was named into the SCTE Hall of Fame. And I just can't speak enough about all the great things and the benefits and the opportunities that the SCTE can provide to individuals. In my spare time, I sort of like to play golf, as I said, and then play musical instruments. And then I'm also a big history buff. But one of my favorite things to do is to root on the Alabama Crimson Tide. So,
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Everybody has their teams. Well, that's quite the background, Mark. And really, we're honored to have you on the show today, and really appreciate your time as we march through this podcast. Next guest, Rob Asten. Rob?
Hey, how you doing, guys? I appreciate you sending me the invite. I enjoyed working with you guys throughout the last 4 or 5 months. We've been working together with the CLC on top of last year's CLC. I don't like the fact that you have me following Mark with his resume that he had, but I'll try to do my best. I started in the industry in 2007, started doing disconnects, then became a service tech, maintenance tech, and moved my way into construction. I recently just left the industry and went to a business partner. So a lot of the people that I saw that I left kind of shamed me. It was like, how are you going to leave and go to do a business partner thing? But you know what? The business partners, they're not as bad as everybody thinks they are. They actually can do really good work. And I beg to differ that our business partner on our team could probably do better than most. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. I'm the engineering manager for Patriot Broadband, who's one of the business partners doing work around the industry. Yeah, I love what I do. It's definitely enjoyable, and I've loved doing the CLC stuff with you guys. I've been with SCTE since I think 2009, and I think I've been on the Chesapeake board since about 2017. So it was a weird transition coming on board and then dealing with COVID and everything. I didn't get to really experience like our golf and vendor show and the cable games. It was kind of difficult to do during COVID, but now that everything's opening back up, and I was the VP during that time, then I became the president during COVID, and now I'm the chairman, and we've gotten to do all that stuff, and I've loved every minute of it.
There's so much value that the SCTE brings, and everybody that just spoke hit on all those good points. Thanks for that, Rob. Rick, if you don't mind, I'll start with the first question. I'll start with Jennifer, and then we'll work our way to Mark and back to Rob.
Sounds good.
Jennifer, how many CLCs have you been to since your involvement with the SCTE?
Last year was my first CLC, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Mark? Mark's
this,
got way more than the number one, but
This one coming up in the next few weeks will be my fifth.
Wow.
Okay.
I would have thought that was a higher number.
Yeah, no, just 5.
Probably hard to find
I would have
time
bet
with
an ice
everything.
cream cone. It would have been like 10, but wow. Rob?
So this will be my third one in person. I did the virtual one during COVID. I was one of the ones that was supposed to go in person. I did it all virtual during COVID.
Awesome.
Well, I'll let you guys know, Robin has been to more than anybody. By
Imagine.
default. So, Eric, what about you? How many have you been to?
This will be the third.
Yep, same for me. This is number 3 for me as well. So,
So I still
not
got
great.
you beat.
Well, of course you do, Mark. Of course. It's the history that you've been, right? My SCTE journey, I was a member, early 2000s, just a member. And then really was probably 8-ish years ago, I was asked to be part of the board. And that's where I've been, I've been on the board since. So the past 2 years, I was asked to chair the subcommittee for CLC. So, and I've been really enjoying that, and an awesome group of people. So, let's move on with another question. So everybody's been to at least one CLC. I'm going to ask, what are we looking for from a CLC? So we've experienced it. Like, what do you hope to accomplish? What's your goal to gain from it? If any. Maybe it's just there to present and train and help other people. But what really excites you about the CLC, the Leadership Conference coming up? And we'll work it backwards this time. I'm going to start with Rob. What do you think?
Honestly, I love the connection piece. I get to see you guys. This will be the third time I get to hang out with Rick and Mark and Eric. It's great. It's great to see people all over the country kind of come together with the same common goal is to just build out America, or any other industry outside of America. So it is nice to see that, and everybody has that same mindset of wanting to learn the industry inside and out. So building that connection when you don't have an answer to something, I have about 50 contacts that I could call for about just about any topic, and they can help me out with it. It's helped my career grow dramatically because of that.
Yeah, it's good to hear. And I would echo that. Definitely has been some career advancement with the involvement. Mark, what's your goal when you travel to a CLC? What's your intent? What are you looking for, and what excites you about it?
Well, once again, I echo what Rob said. It's once again the connections, in getting face to face with folks, having the opportunity to sit around with them a round table, and just basically start passing along ideas. And basically, I'd like to think that I have the recipe to what makes a chapter successful, but listening to the things that the other people are doing within their chapters always provides me with a wealth of ideas that I can take back previously to the Chattahoochee chapter, where I was president for a number of years, but now back to the Region 9 chapters as well, and be able to pass that information along to them. And then also to share some of my knowledge to those folks as well, to some of the new board members and chapter leaders, being able to share with them some of my experience and what I think made the Chattahoochee chapter successful, and things that hopefully they can partake of and have success in those chapters as well.
Yeah, awesome. And the value your experience brings on the chapter side in the industry. You can't, there's no book that's going to teach the experience that you've had, and then love the fact that you enjoy sharing that back as well. Jennifer.
Mark should write a book.
I can add as well is that, I'm very fortunate that Guy McCormick, SVP at Cox Communications, is also the chair of the SCTE, and he's my boss. So I have a lot of interaction with Guy. So I get to hear a lot of things about the SCTE from him. No secrets or anything like that. That's not common to everybody. But once again, being able to pass some of the knowledge that he imparts on me about things happening within the SCTE, I think is wonderful, and being able to share that with the other team members as well.
It's awesome.
That's fantastic. Jennifer, what are you looking to get out of CLC? What are you looking forward to at CLC?
Well, first, I do have to make a correction. I was only counting last year because it was my first involvement with CLC. This will actually be my third attendance because we had Indianapolis and then OKC. So this being in Arizona will be my third one. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I'm still looking for the exact same thing, and I've received it every year for the last 2 years, and I expect the same thing for this year. And aside from echoing what the gentleman already said, it really has to do more with the learning part for me, because for someone who supports multiple chapters, we wear different hats and the needs for those. So by me attending these, one of the things I look forward to is, especially with Nadia, is her help in me understanding how can we meet those requirements in order for the chapters to succeed. Whether it's not just the matrix points, but getting the training on hand, scheduling those, getting enough help. So that's what I look forward to, because it's the most helpful to me in helping the other committees be successful.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, really coming to learn yourself, but then to bring back. And that's what it's about. It's about all of those things, Eric, I'll put you on the spot, and then I'll ask for you to ask the next question. But what's your favorite part? What do you enjoy the most? What do you like to get out of it? Tell us about CLC for you, Eric.
I think my favorite part to date, going on the third one, was the icebreaker we had last year. Right? So we're sitting around with a group of people, and I mean, you're just opening up conversation almost immediately. You find out how small the cable world is. You find out that, maybe the person you're sitting next to worked for somebody that you used to work for before, or knows somebody. It's just a reminder of how small our industry is. But I mean, it's big at the same time. It's so big, right? I think we were told there's going to be 45 chapters in presence at CLC this year, out of 60? So, I mean, that's a big deal. And it sounds like the registration is doing phenomenal as well. So I think it's building upon the connections that I've built with all of you here too. And then also folks that I don't get to talk to as much.
No, I agree. I agree. For such a vast industry, you said it ends up being a small world. And a lot of great like-minded folks, and a great time to get together, and maybe there's a little cut loose, but for the most part, get to share ideas and thoughts. It's awesome. So, Eric, you got a question?
I've got a question for you. Yeah. So we'll turn that question right back on you. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I really enjoy. So everybody gets a badge when they register for CLC, and I really look forward to scanning you in as you go into the trainings. So that's my favorite part of CLC. No, it's everything about it. It's getting to catch up with old friends. It's making new friends. Doing some networking on the side. Rob said it earlier. I don't have to go and search. Like, I know who I'm going to call if I have a question. If I need a product, I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling them. I've met them somewhere through SCTE and a lot of them through the leadership conferences. Plus what we can bring back to the chapters. So there's, as quick as the industry changes, that innovation that happens throughout the chapters, and sharing that knowledge back and forth, the best practices, the things that are working very well. Hey, even some of the things that don't work well, getting to get that information shared out in front of you and then bring back to the local chapters and, mold it into something that works for our chapter. So awesome event.
All right. So we'll go on with the next question. We'll start with Jennifer first on this one. So we'll just go back in reverse. What are your key takeaways after leaving the chapter conference each year?
There's a few. I think the number one that comes on top of my head is tips and tools to making what we do easier. Again, this is a volunteer position, so we understand that we have other lives. We have a full-time job and our families, and so by volunteering, it's taken away from some of those. And so I always try to look for something that would make it quicker. You know, that saying, work smarter, not harder. So those are the things I look forward to when the chapters are talking, or some of the senior leadership are talking about what works for them and what doesn't. And the takeaway from that is also then applying that to the current board that I sit at and say, oh, I heard about this at this chapter. This is what's working for them. So can we try to implement it this way too? So that's one. And then a second piece is the association and getting to work as a team. I did not even realize this until almost my third year being part of the secretary board for the Snake River chapter, that we were able to do teamwork and still count that towards receiving points as well as team collaboration. So that was a good tip for me to take away. And so I then started reaching out to other chapters in my surrounding area saying, hey, can we work together on a seminar or a training? So that was a tool I picked up, and as a board, as a group, we applied it, and it's been working great for us.
I love it. And you spoke to my soul on that. I think you and I kind of went through that same journey at the same time on like the teamwork piece and collaborating with other chapters. And you really see, outside of the matrix, what it can really do to help you with that collaboration piece. Mark.
Very similar to what Jennifer just said. It's taking ideas that I hear from other chapters and taking that back into the previously the Chattahoochee chapter, and now hopefully into the other chapters within Region 9, especially their approach to training and basically some of the concepts with that, and some of the topics that we might not have thought of from our chapter standpoint, and taking that back into the chapter and saying, hey, let's explore this. I heard this chapter was doing X, Y, or Z, and why can't we do that? And learning new things. Once again, like to think that, we have a great recipe for success, but, you can always learn something from someone else. So that's actually the biggest thing I take away from is new ideas and new ways to do things and new ways to approach things.
Another item that spoke to my soul. What about you, Rick?
Oh, you want me or you want Rob? I want to hear Rob's answer first. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Well, mine's a little different. So I like the fact that CLC is closer to the beginning of the year, because over the winter holidays, it tends to, like SCTE, I think it's the same issue with all chapters, tends to die off. Everybody kind of loses interest, and it does revamp the life back in SCTE. Like you get out to there and you are no longer like, oh man, am I the only one that even cares about this? Because you meet people and they all have the same passion to want to make sure that the training continues, that the golf events continue, the vendor days continue, the cable games continue. So it does kind of bring life back into even myself, because that winter holiday, everybody kind of disappears, and then you bring everybody together, and it truly does just bring life back into each chapter.
You're
That's
right,
so
Rob.
well said. Yeah.
You can't come away from that not being pumped up.
Yeah.
Rick.
True. I'm gonna have to go with what Rob said. I'm gonna have to steal that. The energy that you get, and I love how we hit Expo usually there in the fall. We get into the holidays, and then we're just grinding it out to make it through into the new year, and then bam, we've got to start over. Officer roles are changing, things like that. There's a lot of things on the plate, a lot of compliance pieces we need to knock out for the chapter level. if you can slide into a CLC, the energy that gives you, the renewal, and then the satisfaction, sometimes from the year before, the success from the year before. You nailed it, Rob. For me, that's I'm in the same headspace as you on that.
This was great talk on CLC, and we'll probably get back to it in a few minutes. And I'm not going to put this question into rotation or round robin. Whoever wants to go first, what is your favorite state that you've traveled to in the country?
I keep pitching Hawaii, but I can't get Robin to bite on it. I'm going to keep pitching it. I think Rick was on that same boat. He was on that bandwagon with me.
Yep, absolutely.
Even though it rained pretty much the whole time we were there, I enjoyed Indianapolis. I really did enjoy Indianapolis' show. It was fun. It just poured down rain pretty much the whole time we were there. But yeah, the sights that we got to see, the events that they had there, they did kind of put it towards like an Indianapolis raceway, and we got the race cars there. I mean, it was with virtual cars, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
Favorite state? Wow.
I don't know that I have one favorite. That's what I would say. I'll share, and this will fall back onto CLC stuff, but one that I was very surprised by. I'd never been to Oklahoma, definitely not to Oklahoma City. But maybe this is kind of like you, Rob, right? With Indy, I just really enjoyed it there. I mean, small, big city kind of thing. The people were friendly. I had a really good experience there. The hotel was interesting, but maybe not my favorite state. For different reasons, I would pick a different state, but one that really caught my attention, and honestly, would love to go back to at some point. For me.
I'm with you on that, Rick. It's the cheapest sporting event I had ever been to. I mean, we were near floor tickets for the Thunder game. And I think something else to add is just like fair pricing, right? It's extremely fairly priced. And that was enticing to me too. I'm like, wow, my money could stretch pretty far here in Oklahoma. So
yeah, nice little place. Mark, you said you got a lot of travel plans. Do you have any something on your top 5 list of places you've been, whether it's been work, SCTE, or just leisure?
Well, I've been very fortunate in that 44-year career in cable I mentioned, of being many places around the world. I would say my 2 favorite places are London and Hong Kong. So I really enjoy those from an international standpoint. Just such a diverse culture, especially in Hong Kong. And then, of course, in London and England, the history of everything there. As I said at the beginning, I'm a big history buff. And so I really enjoy that. But I've been very fortunate to these more places than I can ever begin to count. So.
Jennifer, you probably travel quite a bit for work and things.
I really don't have a favorite. If I had to just kind of tune it out to just personal travel, it would definitely be Hawaii, just because my kids and my husband.
Look at that.
Well, Rob, you're right. I will jump on that bandwagon. But we're just an outdoorsy people. I mean, we'll go anywhere. But yeah, I would say Hawaii, just because I'm a kid. I'm a kid. As soon as we go on vacation, I'm like, ooh, let's go do this, and I'm game for anything.
Well, I've never been to Hawaii, so I'll put it on my bucket list.
Well, you must surf if you go to Hawaii. It's one of a must experiences that you have to do. It's awesome.
Noted. It'd be a big surfboard. Eric, what about you? Do you have a favorite state? Whether work, pleasure? Michigan doesn't count.
Michigan does not count. Neither does Ohio. Neither does Indiana. I would say Louisiana. New Orleans was quite the experience. Colorado is always fun. But I haven't been too far on West Coast. And so the closest west will be when we go to CLC. That's about the furthest west I've ever stretched. So that should be fun.
You're going to love it, Eric. You're going to love Phoenix.
Yeah,
Nice.
We shouldn't get the rain like we did in Indiana. So it should be pretty nice weather. And beautiful. I mean, so I would pick Arizona as my favorite, but it's just because my brother lives there. So I've been there a couple times. Really looking forward to going. You know, I'm gonna sneak out after everything's done on Wednesday and spend a day or two with him before I fly home. So beautiful place. You know, if you like things like scorpions and rattlesnakes, it's fantastic. But it is, it's one of my favorite places to go, and some of that's the love for my brother, and then it's just a nice place. So we should have a good time there. And there's Eric's favorite restaurant is In-N-Out Burger.
You never experienced anything until you open up a pedestal and there'd be a rattlesnake in the bottom of it. So
Yeah, no thanks. I mean,
Ooh,
it is
just
what
like
it is.
the cable
but-
memes. Wow. So Mark, have you seen that in real life?
yes, little small snake. Yeah, well, little small rattlesnake. Yeah.
Wow.
No opening pets, guys, while we're there. We don't need any snake bites. So, Eric, I'm going to ask one question that goes along with the state, and I think I know at least one answer already, but and maybe I'll just keep this to Mark and Jennifer. If you were going to pick what state the next CLC would be in, Rob, we know we're shooting for Hawaii. Jennifer might be too, but and Eric, I want to lump you in this. But if you guys got any state, city, you could pick it. Where would CLC 2025 be?
Colorado.
I would say Colorado as well. Maybe Keystone, Colorado.
You know what, Mark? You are a man after my own heart, because I was thinking Keystone, Copper, Winter Park.
All right. Well, Robin's going to hear it then. We'll start peer pressure. The gals at National.
All right. Second favorite would probably be San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, I'd like to do that one. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're on the same wavelength, Mark, because that was my actual second one because of the river. What do you call that? The river walk.
The river walk.
It is
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
most definitely. I'll give you the $20 when I see you at CLC there, Jennifer.
Sounds good.
I like it. I've been to the river walk.
Direction.
I'm in.
I'm gonna say San Diego. I'm gonna say San Diego next year, or Nashville.
Oh, that's a good one. I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah. Either of those, really. San Diego's supposed to be beautiful weather.
Yes.
That's the downside to like in Indiana, is you never know what you're going to get. So, and I'd love to, about this time of year, get away to some nicer weather any chance I can. So, well, interesting. Eric, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you got? What's your next question? You got one more question for the group before you amaze us with your cable joke? Because I know you got it.
So I think we'll go round robin with this one. We'll start with Rob first. And what do you like to do in your spare time, Rob? Hobbies, books, films, music, adventures. What do you like to do outside of the Rob that is part of SCTE and also Patriot?
I really enjoy pretty much anything that's gonna kill you. I love riding my motorcycle. I love scuba diving. Pretty much anything that like my wife doesn't want to do at all. That's what I like to do.
That's awesome. Mark?
A couple of things. Mentioned golf earlier from an outside standpoint. But then liked music. Like to play music. Here at my house, I have a music studio. and have it all set up with drums and guitars and keyboards and all the speakers and whole 9 yards there. So I enjoy playing music, and big history buff as well. So reading always reading some kind of history book.
I'm impressed, Mark. Call me over sometime to come jam in the studio. I'm down.
You got the invitation.
That's awesome.
Jennifer.
Well, if vacationing is a hobby, I'll count that as one, because again, we'd love to go to Hawaii every year and just spend a week there. But when it's affordable, we like to go to the Denver Nuggets game and the Avs. We're a big sports fan. My kids grew up in sports. My older son had played basketball, baseball, soccer all his life. He's now at CU. So on our spare time every weekend, when the Nuggets are playing at home, we have season tickets. So that's like just the one thing. And, being that the Nuggets are number one in the West, woohoo, it makes it a lot more fun to be on a winning side. But yeah, watching NBA games, going to sporting events with my family, listening to music. We love concerts. We go to Coachella, Austin City Limits. So those are the things we do. And then on a monthly basis, our family try to do something for the community. So we help out on that. But it's actually really a fun thing to do. It's as simple as, doing the Big Brother Sister program, or we're just packing up for food. That's actually really fun. I've gotten to meet a lot of people for that.
Jennifer, do you sleep?
I don't. Ironically, you say that, because sometimes you'll get an email from me. Maybe not you guys, but like work at like 12 in the morning at 12:25 a.m. And they're like, "Are you?" As long as I sleep 4 hours, 4 to 5, I'm solid. But if you don't feed me, that's another thing. I can go 4 or 5 hours. I'm just as solid as anyone else with an 8-hour sleep. But if you don't feed me after an hour, forget it.
You're hangry.
I'm hangry.
Well, awesome. That is, a laundry list of things that, make me feel pretty boring from all of you. Wow, great stuff, though. Really appreciate you guys sharing some of that. Eric, what about you? And then I'll share a little bit of what I like to do for fun, off the clock hobbies.
Let's see, off the clock hobbies. I would say Netflix, right? Movies. There's always movies to watch. And to Mark's point earlier, music. I'm big into music, and actually, as I was sharing with you earlier this week, Rick, it's really what supplanted this whole thought in the first place, the podcast. So. You can always find me with my Spotify streaming, my headphones in, sometimes, blasting in the kitchen, concert style too, as I'm cleaning the kitchen. So,
I just mostly work. That's what I do for fun too.
That's your hobby?
No, we, and we try to carve out time, and I do an awful job at it, but camping, I would say camping is probably, kids enjoy it. We do a lot of state parks and things like that, a lot of hiking when we go. We don't venture out very far because of schedules and things like that, so we get some trips in where we can. And then I think I said this before once, is really just tinkering with stuff. Anything working with my hands is really what I enjoy. It's work, but maybe I'm working on the kids' four-wheeler or dirt bike, or whatever it is. Working around the house doing remodel projects that I probably won't ever finish, but that's it. That's how I consume my time.
Now, Rick, when you say camping, you're talking real camping, not glamping, right? I just want to make sure.
Look,
Intense camping.
So when I hook up my camper, my and it's a small 33-foot fifth wheel.
That's glamping.
And when I turn the air conditioner on, and we're air frying, maybe some chicken tenders for lunch. Yes, real camping. I do enjoy just the good old tent in the middle of nowhere. I haven't convinced my kids and my wife how much fun that is yet. So I think the last time we tent camped was in my backyard, and I think I was the only one that enjoyed it. So,
Rick, if you're ever up for it, there's a park way tucked up north in the UP called Isle Royal, and you got to take a boat to get there. It's very choppy. You might want to take some Dramamine, but if you set up some intense camping there, your kids could see some moose.
oh really? I'll have to plug you in when they're ready to stay in a tent and say, Eric, where do I need to go? Eric, we're coming up on time. I'm going to share something real quick with you. CLC, 17 days, 16 hours, 5 minutes, 30 seconds for the 8 a.m. start time. So
wow.
I did the math while we were talking, of course, or Googled it, but so we're coming. I mean, we're getting close. I hope everybody's as excited as I am. The subcommittee group, the folks on the call today on the podcast. I think we've got a really good show coming. I look forward to it. I hope everybody does. It's going to be a good time either way. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of takeaways. So, roughly 17 days away. So be prepared. Bring some ideas with you. But Eric, we need to know. Well, I guess I'll ask the group. Does anybody have any cable mom or dad jokes they would like to share?
I do.
Yes.
Bring it.
Okay, don't laugh so hard. Why did the Ethernet cable go to therapy?
I don't know.
Because it had too many connection issues.
I like it. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one. I like it.
That was a first for me too. That was a good one.
Rob, you said you have one as well?
I do. So it's a question that I've been asking pretty much the engineers around the industry. So we went from A-PON to B-PON to G-PON. So when we got the G-PON, it's 1 gig service. When we got the XGS-PON, it's 10G service. So I was wondering what we're going to call when we go to terabyte service. Are we going to be out here selling T-PONs?
Oh my god, that's a good one, Rob.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, Mark, I'll ask you. I don't have one.
I don't have nothing. I've got nothing.
Eric's definitely the comic relief for the end of the show. Eric, do you have one? Do you have one loaded? You ready?
I do. Let's go.
Send it.
The cable repairman was on my street and asked me what time it was. I told him that it was between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m.
Oh man, I like that one. That hits home. Anybody that's had a service call missed a time frame. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Have to reschedule.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm just gonna say a couple things, Eric, and then I will let you close up the podcast with the guest. But again, I can't thank the three of you enough for the work that's gone into the subcommittee for CLC. The years that everybody's dedicated to the industry and to the chapters, and some more than others. But Mark, all the work that you do and have done for many, many years, true inspiration to some of us younger folks. Not that I'm that much younger than you, but you talk about when you started and things like that. Truly inspiring. One of the best feelings I've ever had, and since Mark's on here, Mark came up to me last year at the end of the CLC, and he says, "Rick, great show," and he shook my hand. Everything else was done. All the dust was settling. That meant a lot to me, Mark. I look up to you. That felt really nice, and I thought, as we parted ways, I thought, he helped on this. Why is he thanking me? But if you ever get a handshake and a thank you from Mark, that's a special moment for me, and I imagine it is for others. So thank you there. The podcast, Eric will work on this. He'll have this up on Spotify probably by the end of the day. So if you have some time, we'll send out the link to the group when you're on there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're in there. And then with that being said, thanks again, everybody, for your time. I look forward to seeing you guys 17 days, 16 hours, 1 minute in Phoenix, or Scottsdale, but Phoenix, Arizona, for another great leadership conference. Eric, any last words for the group?
Oh, geez, Rick, it's almost like you got the time frame like tattooed on your forearm or something. Just look down at your forearm. It's got the time there, right? So, no, I couldn't have said it any better than the way that you concluded. And I look forward to seeing each of you in how many days and how many hours, how many minutes and how many seconds?
17 days, 16 hours, 26 seconds.
Love it. Okay, we'll see everybody in Scottsdale.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Guys. Take care.